Yeah, welcome everybody. Good to be with you today. We're here for part 3 of the Power of Surrender, and I look forward to talking to you today about it from another angle. I'd like to take a look at it. The first time together, we talked about overall what it means to surrender, and went deeper into that. Part 2, etc. We won't rehash it all, but week 1 we talked about the power of hesitating, the power of getting more connected before we allow things to move through us, and allowing ourselves to deepen our awakening by being more connected, right? And then as we've been progressing through these layers, these next steps or whatever, these different aspects of surrender and awakening, we also talked about embracing your shadow self, embracing all of you, letting all of you be shared. And then today, I wanted to talk about a controversial topic, of course, to many anyway. Things like social justice, different things we talk about, COVID, blah, 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 or whatever. Like everybody's worried about the censors, right? So, and then whatever the issues may be that are going on socially, in the collective consciousness, etc. So, how are we in relationship with these things as it relates to deeper surrender and a deeper awakening? Like the COVID thing. I just play with that for a little while and then get over it. But it's just the whole thing with the it's fun to do that. Okay. Anyway, that whole thing was huge, right? When that whole thing started, 2 years ago or more now, or I don't know, it's been almost 2 years actually. So when all that happened, that was like, okay, shut your doors. Y'all been sent to your rooms, and because of what we've been doing to the planet and all these things, and it served as this time out. And so there was a whole conversation we had about that, and the whole real experience we had of, wow, this is really waking us up to some things, some patterns, some ways of being collectively, individually that are not serving the evolution of consciousness, are not serving living in harmony and in accordance with our own true nature, with the environment, with so many different things, right? And then so many different issues have been stirred. And now, again, with the internet and social media, man, everything blows up so quick to where, we have something like that happens at the Oscars, and it was dramatic for the scene, right? One person slapping another on stage. And then everybody, right? Because it's a hot topic. Everybody's giving their opinion on it, all the way from, I saw people posting that were black, saying this is the right thing to do, to slap that guy, all the way to, totally the wrong thing to do, right? So, all different opinions. And this has set race relationships back so many ideas, so many concepts. And so the reason why I bring it up as it relates to the power of surrender for us to examine today is these topics are very stirring, very, very stirring. Hi, Brian. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Diana. Good to see you all here today. They're very stirring of us and our emotions and our pain body. Why is that? Because we have all experienced so many different things through our lifetimes of being persecuted, being slaves. Maybe we were literally a slave. I mean, I think one of the things that people forget is literally all of us have experienced that probably in our probably most of us through our past lives. Almost every ethnic background has been enslaved by people at some time in history. So we have a slave. So when we see injustices towards people around the world, I'm not just talking about Black Lives Matters type of things, but beyond that, even the Uyghurs and what happened in World War II, and the Jews, except wherever you want to go, all of it, it impresses something, it stirs something inside of us. It's like, no more, right? And that's where all this, why they're all part of why there's such intense energy around it often. And for some of us, we feel like it should be more intense, right? We're still like just not warrior enough. And I hear you on that. So I think it's important for us just to realize where these things are emanating from, that they have deeper roots than only like, wow, this is just a bad thing. Like there is that level, right? These are bad things that are happening in the world, whatever it is that that are stirring us at any given point in time. I'm for everybody, doing this thing, getting roar. I just keep doing it a little bit because it's fun to do. But or I'm totally against it. Oh, they're killing us or whatever. Like whatever when I talk to you guys about this subject, I can always share my own personal opinion about things. But honestly, that's not my main focus here. It's like share. I'm not here to be an opinion pundit. I'm here to help with awakening, because I feel like that there are different viewpoints on things. Is the strength and the diversity of the consciousness. Like, oh no, the consciousness that can see all kind of perspectives, can see it all different ways, and can find verifying information for your belief, right? So like if I say, well, this organization is not for the best because look, I have all the evidence, I've got it all nailed down, and then you feel like you're convinced. But then you don't see that there's all these other factors that may color your perception another way. You're not going to even bother to look for that information or to focus on that, because it doesn't matter, because I see all this damning evidence right here. And that's the whole picture. End of story, right? Because that's what our minds want to do. It wants to come to a conclusion about ourselves, about our world, about other people, because it's wanting to keep you safe. It always comes back to that. It's like, I want to stay safe. I want to stay protected. I want to be a good person, right? This whole thing, I want to be a good person. Like, I want to be a good person. I just want to do the right thing. And so we want to focus on those things that would allow that to happen. Like, again, I'll never forget, like, just being shocked by my consciousness being shocked. It shouldn't be, shocked by this, but like, this is years ago now, but going to the gym, talking to someone else at the gym, and he's like talking about these black people. He's like, yeah, they're the ones that create all the problems and all this. I couldn't even believe like what I was hearing. Like, I know there's innumerable people in the world that probably have I don't know how many, but so many people that may have these beliefs. But like, I was just shocked. I couldn't even believe I was meeting somebody who had that kind of belief system. Even though I've been around them in the past, but I thought like, it was shocking. And I was just like, wow. But it was awakening because I had to look in the mirror, right? Whatever it is, I feel like we have to look in the mirror. Well, wait a minute. I'm not like that at all. I have no beliefs like that. But is it true, right? So we have to just examine, like, why are we stirred by it? Why am I so shocked? What is it about it? The surface stuff, like, you go somewhere else for that. You don't come to the Rock Your Sacred Purpose group for that, all right? But we come, Rock Your Sacred Purpose group, to examine our consciousness more fully. And like, why would that stir me? Why am I feeling so threatened by what's going on in the world? Is there a real potential for something bad to happen to me on a human physical level? Like, it seems like there might be, right? There's a going on, and all that stuff. Like, there's something coming. I think it's funner to use because I don't even have to. You guys can imagine. You can fill in your own words, but like, there's these things happening. And then we have a sense of threat. I feel it. You feel it. When everybody's honest, everybody feels it at some level. Some level. No, I don't care how present you are. I don't care how much, man, I'm so deep. It doesn't matter. I see it all as beauty and love, and it's all perfect. And somewhere inside, you're likely stirred by it. You're triggered by certain aspects of what's going on in the world, and you want to call I will just say, justice to various things. And me too. Me too. Me totally too. That part of me wants that as well, for sure, 100%. So rather than dishonor that part, so I'm not the teacher saying like, you've got people who are like, well, all of it doesn't matter, nothing matters, and we just need to be in the light, and then everything ascends, and then we're all good. I wouldn't say that's true necessarily. I feel like that's part of the truth, but part of it is like we need to address the things that are bubbling up and emerging, but our social conditioning has us go in all different directions. Our social conditioning say there's bad people and there's good people. As long as I'm one of the good people, we're all good, right? Not realizing that, oh, but I don't want to, oh, come on. I couldn't possibly have these horrible beliefs or be one of those type of people at all. Like, yeah, well, let me throw you in Nazi Germany in the 40s and put you in exactly the scenario that the people there were in, and let's see how awake you would be. You'd probably be buying the narrative, many of you, that was being put out there at the time. It's all because of the Jews or whatever, whatever the narrative might have been. I wasn't there, but I'm saying it's easy for you to say I wouldn't be one of those people, but we don't come from the backgrounds these people come from. We don't come from a background of the rich necessarily. Probably people are from the super rich, right? Where maybe it's drilled into you. You've got to be ruthless. It's all about, winning every single time. And we have the privilege, believe it or not, you privileged idea, all these words can be twisted back in another way, right? Privilege, well, maybe we're privileged that we didn't have to get bombarded with these ideas and then have to work those things out for our entire life. I have to dominate, I've got to be unstoppable my entire life, and I have to make money no matter what at this huge level. Like, we weren't born with that. We don't have the privilege of just like, hey, I don't have to be like that. Like, I can be free to be a different way, right? Like, we all are just in different places, right? It's not like one's right or one's wrong. We are all in just different places. Oh, but surely the people who have no money are way less justice. From what perspective? When we say it's really more about our connection with presence and the light and the vibrations we get into and whatnot, yeah, a lot of us would say we would prefer the uber wealth until maybe you're dropped into it, right? You may or may not. There's very miserable people that are uber wealthy, very suicidal, all that stuff. Depressed. So, I'm just saying, like, we need to, when you want to really wake up, this is a good place to come, is to explore the things I'm talking about here. You have to be willing to explore all of the consciousness, to some level and degree, and not examine any of it. Another level in terms of just being committed to being awake, to being connected, right? But being willing to examine our consciousness when it comes to conclusions, when our pain body is triggered, and then we get off of our truth. So I think about people like Gandhi, for example. Again, I just talk about him a lot because he's a guide of mine, and I've been really connected with him, and I've studied him, and he had great principles. A lot of people feel like he created all these principles, but like they're ancient principles, like of nonviolence and dedication to truth. These are old principles. They weren't new. They're just more, they call it the recency bias. He's more recent, and he stands out. So, but he was always like, we should love the people that we feel were being persecuted by. Now, some people don't agree with some of the things he did, but I think the core of that message, at least, has a lot of merit. We should be loving each other, not dividing each other, right? Like, let's examine these things. Let's settle in. But most people can't settle into the presence enough to examine these things within their own consciousness. And therefore, you continue to be pulled by those that are in the controlling business. For whatever reason, that's where they are, right? Let's control the masses by having them get on board with this idea or that idea. There's no question in my mind that that's happening, right? I'm not some mass conspiracy person. It's just, it's true. If you could take advantage of it, just look at the Will Smith thing. There's people taking advantage of that. They don't really care that much about it, some people, and they're busy putting all kinds of YouTube videos up because they know they're going to get clicks. They're like, oh, this is great. I'll get clicks. Let me come up with my concepts, my opinions, and how we're going to frame it, how we're going to take advantage of this. That's what people do with different situations that show up. Consciously, unconsciously, we're constantly looking at how can we utilize this situation for ill or for good or for whatever, right? We're just constantly trying to kind of manipulate things. And so it's human. I'm not making it wrong even necessarily. It's not necessarily about it's right or wrong. It's just being awake. All right, so there's these programs around different movements, and there's a lot of energy that's put into it. And then I just buy the whole kit and caboodle a lot of times without examining my own consciousness. And even if I feel like I'm doing that, like sometimes I need to pump the brakes a little bit, do the hesitation I talked about in the first segment, even if it's just very, very briefly. Check in with yourself. Okay, wait a minute, I'm triggered. I'm coming from a triggered place. If I say if you are, maybe you aren't for it, but like if you're for leaders like Gandhi or Martin Luther King, people like this that have practiced nonviolence and love and all that sort of thing, at least that was their foundational teachings, then, okay, am I practicing that? Am I practicing that? If I say I believe these things, am I practicing that? Or am I in some other program that isn't really serving love and truth, but that is just hooking me and controlling me to go in a direction that really, although it may do some good, it's just constant suffering. It's constant, ends poorly. It continues to engage unnecessary suffering. What's the path of liberation? The path of liberation is that where we're more connected to the truth, to our heart, more to what is the deepest truth we can realize, rather than just trying to be right about any particular social condition or issue. Okay, it's not that you're not taking a stand for anything. It just means you're constantly, at the same time as you take a stand for something, examining your own consciousness, examining, the deeper truth of everything, and then looking at like the things I talked about the last time, the shadows, right? So, there's the virtuous one inside you and the polarity within you, and then there's the part that may not be so virtuous, but that's the part you don't want to look at, is light worker, light leader people, right? Oh, yeah, not increasingly you guys are, right? Like, thank God, that has been changing, but it's like, oh, well, I'm not a bad person, I've got, but it's not about that. It's just like looking at the shadow side in how it might want to abuse others in certain ways, or might want to be greedy, or might want to do this, or might want to do that. The things you don't want to look at. I'm not making them right or wrong. They're saying, like, when we can take a look at everything and examine everything and embrace all of who we are and all life is, we can actually be more awake and more effective and serving love and truth. That's really what I'm saying. That's really what I'm trying to land with you today. So with all that in mind, I feel like these different conditions, give us huge opportunity to evolve in consciousness and to bring more good to so many people in the world. And that's really what all part of my aim here too. So hi there, Lisa. Hi, Robert. Hi, Kimberly. Hi everybody. And Melanie said, what are some tips to stay focused on making our best positive impact to serve from where we are right now? Okay, great. So I'll get right back to that. And then Kimberly said it's about accepting everyone where they are in the moment. Yeah, I love that. That's great truth. It's wonderful truth. Absolutely. Because the minute we get into timelines, we're like, yeah, but let's keep talking about these issues from the perspective of all these ideas from the past or future and all this stuff. Well, it'll make that wrong even. Like, we can, but we want to come back. Okay, we're right here in this present moment now. how can we serve love and truth right now, given all these things were true? I mean, we could argue like, hey, if you just stay in love and truth and do your good work from there and address what's emerging right here in this moment, rather than focusing on the past and the future of what you're afraid will happen in the future, continue to focus on the past, that is what can serve the highest good, using just, to some degree, some reference points of past and future, but allowing yourself to be more focused on the here and now. What if in this moment at least, there's nothing wrong? Like around the world in this moment, let's just imagine, because why not? We could just imagine, okay, because it's all time and space, whatever, the Ukraine, Russia, all this stuff. Yeah, and then we don't talk about even other things that are going on. Notice how selective it is what people put on the map. There's things I know I have no clue about are happening in the world that we'd be like, oh my God, if we learned about them, right? So many things. But like, okay, there's like, war in Yemen, and we've got, whatever. The different scenarios are huge, but they don't all get huge attention. That's just interesting. It's interesting. So let's say all these things need time and space to happen, but if we stay connected, I'm getting to some things here that are really practical. If you're in connection, if you're in the present, and you want to serve what's the highest in the moment, then you just serve yourself best by being in the deeper presence as the foundation. And then you're just examining like, what would love and truth serve here today with whatever is showing up in the sense of the polarity. Like, okay, how will love and truth win the day here, so to speak? How can it serve, at least, right? Winning is more of an idea with the ego a little bit, not to make it wrong either, if winning's fun. But it's like, just like, okay, how can it serve? And just coming from that deeper place, making everybody right, no one wrong. Yeah, you're right. The vaccines, the blah, blah, blah sucks. Oh, you're right. The blah, blah, is awesome. It's saving everyone's life. You're right. Just make everyone right at one level, right? Not that there's no discernment, there isn't like your own intuitive perspective, and then your own set of facts that you bring in. We all got facts, so we all have it, and like and often ultimately they seem to like fight up against each other, right? But why can't we just embrace it all? Why can't we be more at peace with the sense of we don't know? The thing that might know, though, is our deeper intuition, what seems to be really true for us to know about, and where we're meant to take a stand in the world for something. And then how does that relate to our purpose? How does that relate to our business? So let's say you're like, no mom should ever suffer again from being, just like left behind, and told they need to stay at home and be moms, and that's it. Never again, or whatever the issues are. Okay, whatever the issues are. Let's say that was your issue. Okay, well, I'm called to serve women, to be to help them in some certain way, but maybe part of what you're doing then is speaking to that issue again and again in your marketing, even if that's not your one issue you focus on to help them with, right? Maybe you help them have better relations with their kids or something, sort of related or something, but like it's not exactly it. But how can you serve that in all your messaging? Like for me, this message right here, for example, love and unity and deeper truth, for everybody, knowing we'll all disagree mentally, forever at some level. Some of us will agree, right? So forever, only forever, because that's the way it works. Is to bring light to this situation while serving you guys in your deeper awakening and your deeper truth and your purpose, and understanding like you want to increase your awakened sales. Okay, these things really matter to me. How can you integrate it in a way that is coming from love and truth into your business, rather than just fighting against something? Well, I don't believe in any of that left-wing stuff, and, give it a label. I'm going to stand in opposition to all of that in my business or whatever. The awakened way is like, okay, I actually have something that I just want to stand for. I'm not judging, like that other people have different perspectives. That's where they are. I'm okay with that, or I can even totally embrace and love that. But I want to share around what I feel I need to share about as part of the evolution of my consciousness and evolution of consciousness for those that need to hear the message that I'm sharing. So in other words, you don't have to know that you're right about anything. You can always share, like somebody I do appreciate to a degree, the way he shares things at times for sure, is Russell Brand. If you ever watch him on his YouTube channels or, wherever whatever platforms you might listen to his videos. But yeah, he says, I don't know, that's just what I think. What do you think? They get people commenting, but I love that. It's just what I think. Like, I love that. So what if we could be like, I don't really know absolute truth. How could I? Something inside me is connected to this sort of absolute truth that we talk about, but mentally, how could I ever know anything absolutely, right? Can you know it's true absolutely anything? No, you can't. There's almost nothing you could know absolutely, but there may be something to explore. We're here in the physical to mix it up, right? So what is your thing? What are you going to take a stand for? Come up with 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, like just a few. I wouldn't go nuts probably with tons of different ones. Well, what are things like you really want to focus on that are important to you, that are these hot topic issues, whether you call it environmental justice or social justice or whatever category it is, but these hot topic issues, how do you want to approach them? How do you want to utilize them? How do you want to let it help you to surrender to deeper truth and love by embracing everything, first of all, but then still speak about the things that are important for you to speak about. If I was in the pundit space, I'd come out and I'd share all my opinions and everything, but that's just not me. I rarely do that. I do it to a degree. I will say things like, for example, like someone will say is like, forget about science. No matter what you're trying to prove, climate change is this real thing or it's totally false. Science will prove whatever you decide to let it prove. I can tell you as someone that's done the experiments myself. You go to do an experiment. Yes, there is science. I'm not making science, not being a science denier or whatever. Like, there is science, of course, but like using scientific studies, there is so much baked into that equation. What gets published, how the studies are done. When the study doesn't work out, how us experimenters will go back to change the results by running numbers in different ways to make it look different than it did initially, or to rerun the entire experiment until it proves exactly whatever the hell I want it to prove. And that's happening all the time. You have to realize the shapers of the consciousness on a planet in part are people like the World Economic Forum, right? I will share these little bits, right? So they're like, oh, we've got the Great Reset. And then, we've got the Great Narrative is the next thing they're talking about, right? They understand life's a story at one level. So how are we creating the great narrative we want, for the world? And how they believe it's for their best interest and for everybody's best interest, right? But that ultimately, like, how are we taking our own power back, right? Because the minute I say that, we might feel like, oh my God, I'm so disempowered. They have the power. I don't. We all have the power. We all have the power, so to speak. The illusion is that we don't have the power. So I'm just here to just remind us, we have the power to wake up. We have the power to have our voices heard, even with the risk that we could be wrong with something we say. You can always say, hey, wow, I see I wasn't correct about that later, right? It's okay, but realize you may not be right. I've seen people be so ardently for whatever, only to change their opinion later. I've seen ardent people on the left go to totally the right, and then totally disavow all of it, right? Like, I've seen so many different things. They were so convinced, wherever they were convinced, right? And so, even on the political thing. So, yeah, you gotta just focus yourself on what you know to be the deepest truth, and always with the foundation of coming from unity, coming from love, coming from the higher perspectives, observing the consciousness in its totality and within ourselves, knowing that if something's stirring you, that some part of you is a part of what's being created there. So whether it's a social issue you're against, like, oh, there's something inside me that is interested in that. It is creating that, whether you realize it directly or not. That's a deeper conversation. How am I in agreement with that? How am I a part of that? What part of it do I embrace? Do I love? Because you can always find it if you're willing to look. And that helps you to come from a more coherent perspective to more effectively lead as a world-changing light leader. If you want to be a world-changing light leader, you have to be able to see all the perspectives. Again, I think about Gandhi. He was able to see, I'm sure, I don't know all details with him, but he was able to see their perspective, the Britain's perspective, even though it seemed like they're the bad ones. Like, he was willing to see their perspective. When I see, black people who change Klansmen back, to disavow their belief system and then wake up, like, they do it by listening. They do it by embracing them. So that's the most effective way of change in the world, is to embrace other people, not to fight against them. And I feel like there is a tide shifting there a bit on that level. Thank God, right? I feel like we're beginning to shift there, and I'm just bringing in more here. So surrender your beliefs, I guess, around your pet issues about the world and how it operates. I'm so against money, but I don't want to be broke. Like all these contradictory belief systems we have too. Like, listen, okay, that's fine that you feel both ways. Embrace both the sense of I don't want to be about the money, and also I'm totally about the money. And what does that really mean to you? Do the inner work on whatever the issue is. And you'll find I don't know how to explain it, but when you can embrace everything, then everything is possible. All the higher, greater good is possible then. But you have to be willing to embrace all the perspectives. Okay. Yeah, the truth will win out, love will win out when we can come from this place. If we're in resistance to something, though, and we're fighting it, hammering on it, you might get temporal victories, but it'll ultimately collapse. The sense of the otherliness, the thing we've been fighting against, will rise up again because the full truth and the full love didn't come through. So anyway, all right, so that's what I have to share today. Love to hear you guys' perspectives on all that, if you want to share. And I will be doing some scanning and all that good stuff here in a bit. I hopefully answer your question, Melanie, in my own way. And let's see, this thing's a little goofy. Kiva, part of their story is what we have no power. We're mere humans who can't be trusted to make important decisions. What do we know, right? Okay. Yet our actual essence is so much more than that. That's so true. Explore and accept real power to be a force of love in the world. Your presence, your love, alone can change it can change anything. It can transmute everything, and yet things will stay the same at some level, right? So you can experience massive changes in your own consciousness and for others, absolutely 100%. And things always go back into a chaotic state where the shadows come back up again, for you to embrace that again and to continue to see consciousness really evolve, while it seems on the surface like maybe life sort of stayed the same, right? But yet consciousness is evolving. At least that's my perspective, all right? Let me know what you think. Agree with both Kimberly and Kiva, Melody says. Thanks for sharing. Okay, wonderful. So, with no judgment by anyone here, okay, if there is an area that you're really passionate about, it could be a social issue or something like that, that is something that's very powerful, maybe very visceral for you at times, I would love to know, if there's something that you're for, that you want to take a stand for that could aid you in your purpose, because these issues actually light our energy up and can deepen our alignment with our power and our truth and our purpose, and the ability to be very powerful in our work and to generate awakened sales from there. So, if you don't share it, in the comments, know it for yourself. But if one or more are willing to share, let me know. And no bashing anybody here, right? Just, we got to be the example here. Like, just whatever you believe in. That I would say, like, whatever you believe in, that's fine by me. I mean, and I could be triggered if somebody tells me what they think I should believe. It's possible I'll get triggered then. I'll be like, well, I believe whatever I believe, But if you're trying to tell me I shouldn't believe what I believe, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen to your perspective. But if you're making me wrong, I might get triggered. It's possible. I could get triggered, right? So, but I'm willing to get triggered, because if I'm triggered, there's something going on inside that needs to be addressed. So thank God. So be willing to be triggered. I know there's a lot of fear to share our truths in the world, because we know that many of us have been persecuted again in lives, and we're empathic, we're sensitive. And if we're willing to move through that, though, we're willing to move through and transmute that energy and deepen our presence, just again, imagine the effect it can have, not only for you, but for others in the world, that we collectively can be more of the true example. Back in the 90s, for example, I remember, like, back then, I thought, like, oh my God, it's gonna have to be up to me to teach the whole world about metaphysics and the power of what you're able to create and all that sort of thing. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to be the one. I'm gonna have to rise way up and everything, and I'm gonna have to be that guy. And I didn't even consider it fully, anyway, that it would be a collective effort. I thought, I don't know. I don't think anybody's gonna be strong enough to pull it off, and there's no way people are gonna understand this stuff. But then increasingly people have. The Secret came out after that, right? So who would have thought that so many people could be aware and be on board largely with these sorts of principles? Not everybody, obviously, many years ago, but yet now people are. So things can change so rapidly. I just heard someone say this recently. Like President Obama, I mean, again, I could be wrong, but this is what I've heard. I seem to remember this. President Obama wasn't for, gay marriage when he went into office, even himself. I mean, and then look how far things have come along, like, in a way, right? Like with gay marriage, we've got all this shift. There's so much more sensitivity overall. There might be more problems, I understand, and all those ideas, but I just saying, like, there's like huge changes. So is it possible for us to more fully awaken and be in a deeper presence where love and unity is the norm, rather than the, like, kind of almost like the exception in our experience? Not just like on the deep, like, okay, the energetic deeper level, but like we experience it in our discourse increasingly. Like that's more the norm. And that we get to, like, that's like the way to be, so to speak. Like, hey, we want to be more like this. We mix it up, but like it's always coming from love, like that's possible. Look at how many other advancements have happened in evolutions. Okay, and then let's see. I had those thoughts too. It's been so good to find community in these areas. Okay, great. All right, so as we're moving right along here, I'm noticing how fast the time has gone by. I can go on this topic forever. I mean, this is a powerful topic. So come up with your one, even if it's one. You don't need more than one necessarily. What's that one visceral thing? For me, it's like, within all the discourse, I'm just like, hey, love and unity, be more understanding. So then that's a constant teacher-student, right? That I have to constantly practice that. So when people say, those crazy liberals or those crazy conservatives or those right-wingers or whatever it is, like, I'm not triggered one way or another, right? I'm not triggered because people are being so insensitive to liberal causes, or I'm not being triggered because people are judging conservatives, or that I can, coming from universal love and truth, like just see and honor all the various perspectives and see the beauty of them and see the strengths and weaknesses in the arguments, quite frankly. So anyway, so it's a beautiful thing. So what's your thing? I'm sure you all will be, I want to do the love and unity too, right? But and then if there's something else too though for you, like what's your thing? What's your thing you want to see, take a stand for in the world? Man, what if consciousness could get to where this was consistently happening? Wouldn't that be great? And I could be fine if it doesn't, using manifestation principles. We forget about that with these causes. Man, well, if I'm totally like worried it's never going to happen, I'm totally fighting it all the time, it's probably never going to fully manifest, right? But we know, like, if we can, okay, if it doesn't manifest, all right, it's always been this way anyway, so, all right, que sera, sera, I guess it is what it is. But I believe it's possible. It's going to happen. This is what's going to be happening. And, announcing the reality, so to speak, but yet being okay in a loving acceptance of what is in this moment. Because there is no other, sane way to be. There is no other sane way to be. Okay. All right. So I could do some scanning on everybody around just the overall topic. If there's anybody who wants any individual scanning, let me know. Let's see, what else we got here? Jackie says there's still some separation behind some of the protests for recognition or justice, etc. It is a bit triggering as I don't know how you get to feel love when in that fight, right? Yeah, because it feels like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, okay, we're fighting or standing up for these things, and it feels like we need to fight. See, that's the thing I feel, Jackie, anyway. I mean, again, that's just my perspective. But I feel like we've got to, okay, they're doing this, then we got to fight against it. That's like the old primal energy. And again, not making it wrong, but what if there's could be right, could be the right response in certain situations, okay? But like, overall, what if we could get more to where we get out of that pattern, consciousness evolves, and we're able to look at it and be like, okay, I see that these people want to imprison people like me. Okay, could I have compassion for them for wanting to do that? No, not right now. Okay, then where you have work to do, right? Can I have compassion for people that want to do me ill even? Like, even if it seems there's no reason for them to want to do that. Like, I can't understand why they would want to do that. And I'm just judging them as bad and wrong and evil. See, they're wrong, they're bad, they're evil. They're wrong, they're bad, they're evil. Like, that becomes the mantra, right? Or they're just wackos and they're just stupid, or they're fools, or whatever. Like, okay, then you have those judgments of yourself. I'm telling you, you won't believe it sometimes, but like, you have those own judgments of yourself. How about more love and compassion for yourself? How about more love and compassion for others? If people like Gandhi could do it, you can do it. He was less compassionate apparently to people in his inner circle, but with people, others, it seems like he was, based on everything I've heard. So yeah, it's not easy. I'll just wrap it up by saying that. I can love people from a distance. Yeah, sometimes that's the way to do it. You may not want to hang out with them. I know what you mean by that. But you could deeply love somebody. Actually, like, from a distance. Yeah, from a physical distance, maybe, right? But, like, in a deeper energetic sense, you might be closer to them. I always say that. Like, when we're not physically with people, sometimes we can be closer to them than people we're physically with, if that makes sense. So we could love them, even more connected to them in some ways than others. That is possible. Meant to send this emoji. Oh, okay. I love a scan. Okay, Jackie can do both. Be inclusive, send them a loving energy. Not always easy, I know. the same time, we can still take action, join together, using those feelings to propel us and things further. For this is how much change has happened historically. That is beautiful, Lisa. That's a great answer. Wonderful. I just love it. I just love it. So, yeah, I grew up understanding pretty largely my privilege, like that this idea of privilege. I'll go with it for now. Like I don't always appreciate that term, but yeah, that I was white, I was a man, all this stuff. 10 years old, like when I was very young, I'm like, oh boy, I'm so lucky, I'm so privileged, and like I'm just like, wow, I may as well enjoy it. I'm not gonna. It is what it is, It's kind of how I saw it. I think like, yeah, that's just how I responded at the time. So I guess I should say that to say I have no clue what black women experience is, or what women experience overall, or black men, or whatever. I have no clue. In this life, I haven't been that. I can maybe understand from past lives, maybe, but I have no clue. But I'm just, yeah. So lots of love and compassion for both of you is what I'm saying. Just lots of love. I just wanted to recognize that. Okay. All right. Okay, we have compassion. Okay, there's a number of things being shared. That which we are for empowers us. That which we are against weakens us. Yeah. I mean, that's Wayne Dyer. Okay, that's, yeah. I mean, could be, right? Could be. I could see the truth in that. All right. So let's go ahead. There was one request for scanning. I just need to remind myself who that was. A lot of good discussion in here. Oh my God, I can't find it now. I think it was Melanie. Okay, Melanie, quick scan. I'm going to do a group scan, do a little scanning for you, Melanie, then do a channel prayer to wrap this up kind of quickly because I actually am running out of time today. So let me tune into the group overall. I'm picking up for all of you right now in this moment. I got a channeled message really coming in, so let's do that. Okay. Got some Jesus energy there, but I'm just going to channel a message. The love and the truth lies within your hearts. Take a stand for that which wants to be victorious. The multiplicity of views on the planet serve the greater whole evolution of humanity and more. Be at peace with its unfoldment. Align yourself with your deeper truth each step along the way. Okay, so I'm going to pause there and do some scanning now. What that was coming in. I just get the message seems to be with this. It's also more of a channel message, I guess. But just getting harness more the infinite that you are. We forget we're infinite beings. Okay, we are infinite beings. We do have a very connected sense that we want to honor and embrace and live and embody fully of being human. But we are infinite when we want to embody and honor that fully as well. And from that place, everything is possible. Because when we can transmit multidimensional energy, the sense of our enemies can become our best and greatest allies in the twinkling of an eye. I promise you. It's available. It's there. And it's real. Okay. Let's see what else. Nothing. Okay, I'm getting. Oh wow. Okay. Nothing's holding you down. Not me. Someone. I could get into my stuff. Like I could get into all kinds of ways I've been picked on. Abused or whatever. I could. Yeah. What am I trying to say? So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, for all of us, nothing's here trying to hold you down. Everything's here to help you to lift up in vibration and consciousness. Everything is here for that. So that's the message I'm getting. What else? Okay. just getting like the leadership of your kindness is meant to be the norm. The kindness, but I also get that it can be firm, that it can be strong, it can be fiery, right? So not to shrink back from that. The idea of just namaste, kindness, everything, like only, you know, no, you don't. It's not that. It's not about that either. It's about, again, embracing all of you. I'm hearing like Melanie. I'm getting for you like in the third eye energy something about, yeah, but I might get it wrong, or some I don't know if it's about this issue we're talking about, but for sure. But like it just overall, I get, oh yeah, the third eye. What if I misperceive something? I'm channeling, and like all of a sudden I'm telling some big story, and it's not true, or it's not quite right, or well, what if I predict things? What if I could even predict things, and then I lead people astray, or like there's a sensitivity of getting it right, which is great, right? We want to be on our razor's edge, right, so to speak. But there's this over compensation into your brain, into thinking, into analyzing and plotting, rather than being bolder and sharing from this deeper space. So it's kind of just reinforcing some of the things I've shared before, but more and more angles. Yeah, energy's moving there. That feels good. Okay. I was feeling it has some heaviness in the chest and the power center. The message seems to be, remember, you're an infinite light being, and then it lightens up right away. Starts to lighten up anyway. Yeah, the idea of things being done to you. Maybe someone could just push you right over, or just take over your life, or destroy you, or whatever. Then I just get that image again. So iconic. I think most all of you have seen it. Like Star Wars. I always think about Darth Vader taking down Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Before he struck him down, he says, "You strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine." He strikes him down, and he embraced that totally. Just the sense of, we're constantly guarding against the sense of our own transmutation from the physical into the greater consciousness, or whatever, the greater, into the one, or whatever. Okay, I don't know. Getting you know what I'm talking about. Then we're constantly in fear. But it's interesting because so many of you have been saying, I just always want to get out of here. Wait a minute, I wasn't that serious about it. Don't hurt me. Like, see how you've not. It's like, okay, I'm totally for being here as long as I'm really meant to be here. Like, that's great, perfect. Longer the better then. And not another day if that's true too. Whatever's the truth. I'm just for the truth of what is wanting to unfold through me, for the contribution I have come here to make, for the experiences I'm meant to have here as part of the evolving consciousness. Yeah, to be willing to be creative, to create what you've come here to create, to make what you've come here to make, so to speak. Allow it to be exchanged. Remember, they're just giving you love. Just remember, they're just giving you love. When you're willing to receive, if you're willing to create and support others, and to support them, and others are like, oh, I want to do something for you. It's just natural, right? Okay, just remember, they're not going to necessarily come over, like if they like are butchers or something, like, oh my God, right? That'd be horrible for many of you. But like, if they're farmers, you don't necessarily want like all their corn, right? So like, again, remember the money system has evolution in it. Maybe it's not the most evolved system, but it's the best we have, one of the best we have anyway right now. So it's like, okay, yeah, I want to receive money. I want to receive financial abundance. I just want to receive the love of that, and then let the money coming in to serve love, whatever that means for you, without, again, too many judgments, too many ideas, too many concepts, too rich, with ideas and concepts of what you think is true. That's what this is all about today in part 2. To get too rich. I'm so righteous about my things that I believe in. Okay, maybe a little too rich there in that regard. Come from more of the deeper space. Okay. All right, I'm hearing I probably need to start wrapping things up. All right. By the way, this is just one point, which is a powerful point of so many points of the power of surrender. I am going to be formally announcing the retreats. I've got a retreat coming up here at the end of April to take us into all these different spaces. I'm sure this will come up to some degree as part of the retreat. So look for the opportunity to go on retreat with me, April 28th to the 30th through a virtual retreat. I'll see if I can post it here tomorrow, but it'll come out through email, I believe, tomorrow. All right, so then I'm getting just to pray. Okay. All right, so take that nice deep breath then. In through your nose, up through your crown, start up through higher self, up to love, light, source, energy, up into the all in all. And as you exhale through your mouth, this energy come back down through your higher self, down through your crown chakra, down through all your chakras, through your physical body, through auric field, down through feet, down through root chakra, down to the core of the earth. As I speak these words and the I am for everyone to listen to my voice, as I recognize God, love, light, source, spirit is all there is. I'm grateful that life is manifesting incredible new opportunities in my life to serve divine justice, human justice, whatever it may be, but I'm here to serve the highest for love and truth, here for me and for all on the planet, knowing that there's an evolution of consciousness that's requiring me to be fiercer and also more compassionate simultaneously. So as I embrace all of it, I'm willing to share all of who I am on every level and to deepen my awakening to all aspects of the energy signature that I am within a sense of polarity, and honor all viewpoints and perspectives, and to know my own truth from my own intuitive connection with Source, and knowing from that place I get set free by knowing that this deeper truth within me to serve love and truth to the highest and greatest degree with my gifts, with my purpose, with what I come here to share, and letting it be well, letting it be right, knowing I can't get it wrong. I just want to experience and share what I've come here to share, and I'm ready to do it full blast, unapologetically, and give and receive unconditionally from that space, all of me at every level, and know that I can rest in all of it and let it all unfold and joyfully surrender to my truth. As I let it be so, I let it be done. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Okay. Feel some real firm energy in there. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie, Kiva, everybody. Wonderful sharing with you today. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to have another one next week, of course, on Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Look forward to being with you then for another Power of Surrender, part 4 of 6. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love, and goodbye for now.